You're listening to Entrepreneur Encounter, the podcast where soft skills meet real talk for creative business owners who are building with purpose. I'm Dana, a Pinterest marketing strategist and agency owner helping wedding pros and creative entrepreneurs get seen without burning out.
And I'm Sarah, a business and team strategist who helps small teams and podcasters communicate clearly, lead with empathy, and grow sustainably. Together, we're unpacking the messy, meaningful side of entrepreneurship, from boundaries to burnout, leadership to listening, so you can build a business that actually fits your life. Hey, entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining me today on Entrepreneur Encounter. I'm your host, Sarah. I'm your podcast operations and team strategist. I'm sure you probably know this, but a lot of the times as business owners, we talk about hiring and building our team. We often think about, I want somebody that is just like me. They have my mind and they can do the tasks just like how I can do them. But that is not the case. That is something that is not going to happen. Sorry to burst your bubble, but everybody's different. And yes, we can mold somebody into something that we might want for a business, but in reality, that's not going to happen the way that you want it to be. So when you hire a virtual assistant or someone to edit your podcast or somebody to do your operations, someone to do customer service, whatever the case may be, you hand them a task, and then within, let's say, the next few days or within the week, you end up redoing the task yourself because you think that you're faster. You think that you're better at it. But on the flip side, that's not a really good idea. You hired somebody for a reason. And again, you keep thinking, I just need someone who thinks like me, someone who is me, basically a clone. Now, that'd be great, right? If we can clone ourselves to do certain tasks, but I would only imagine that that is very costly. And I think it would probably be not as costly to hire somebody and teach them your ways, but allow them to be able to do the tasks the way that they know how to do in a different way. So today we're going to talk about why that instinct is actually the thing that's going to sabotage your delegation and what you can do and build instead of building a clone. So before we get into it, I want to give you a quick reminder on what we have going on in our newsletter, and that is the Entrepreneur Spotlight. Essentially what this is we are offering you a space on our newsletter. It's free, no charge. You just give us some information and we put you on our newsletter. But with the exchange of that, you do the same for us. So we're spotlighting each other and getting in front of different audiences and growing our newsletter and growing whatever you're trying to grow. So definitely check that out. That link is going to be down in the show notes. Take a look at the form. Have any questions, feel free to reach out. And full transparency, I have said these words. I've said, I need someone like me. And I've said it out loud. I've said it to Dana. I've said it to, other people that I worked with, probably more than once, probably more than I would like to admit. But just like how you think about, I wish I can have a clone to do the dishes for me, right? To do the laundry, to do the house chores, because we're business owners. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do the chores, but we got to do that. And I think almost every entrepreneur said some version of that. It sounds like a joke, but it happens. We say these things. This is like the honest description of what we think delegation requires, finding someone who does things like you do. And the thing is, wanting that isn't lazy or controlling. I mean, it makes sense. The business that you've built, you have somebody coming in and doing the task for you, and handing something off to somebody at first is kind of frightening because you built this business, you built the vision, and you want to maintain that. And you can do that. You just have to be able to work out the steps before you do hire somebody and figure out what that looks like for your business. So when delegation fails, it's usually not because the person you hired wasn't good enough. It's because you don't have the right systems set in place. You don't have the right systems for your new hire to step in. You handed off a task, not a process. And I'm guilty of this too. I've hired somebody in the beginning and I'm just like, can you do this for me? And they're not able to do it. And then I end up doing the task because I know how to do it. But there was no process given. There was nothing given to help this person succeed in the role that they're in. Remember back in the day when you probably, got a job, a 9 to 5, some office job, retail job, what kind of job that you've had. Were you ever thrown into the job without really getting trained? I've definitely been there. I've definitely been in that position where I didn't even know what I was doing and just kind of like, oh yeah, just do that, do this. No. And that's how you end up losing people. It doesn't work. That conclusion that we jump to is I need someone more like me, when the actual conclusion is I need to build something that is not dependent on me. So how this works is that you have your business. It's just you. You're building your business. You have your clientele. Then one day you think of hiring somebody. Let's say it's 6 months from now, a year from now. In that time, you can build the systems for your business. The tasks that you do, what tasks do you want to hand off? Write systems, write step by step. And this is what is called an SOP, a standard operating procedure. As corporate jargon as that sounds, having these procedures in place is going to help you in the long run. Over the last 5 years, I've been building SOPs for clients time in and time out. Like over the past 5 or 6 years, I've built these standard operating procedures for my clients, because when we hire somebody new on, you can give that to them, the step by step. Yes, you can still be there for them and help them along the way, but they have this as a backup. So if you're not there and they have a question, everything is there in place. And you want those systems. It can be daunting to set these up, but you want them set in place. You want to write out the vision for your team, the culture, like what do you want your team to be? Like how do you envision this to be for your business? Especially if you have clients and especially if you have a team that is probably working with those clients or working together on a project. You want to make sure that you have an idea of what your culture should be for you, because when you have these things set up, your team is going to thank you for it. And you're going to have this weight lifted off your shoulders and know that you can take a week off, a month off, and be okay. So when we think about this, we want to look at a few points, right? So everything that lives in your head, you want to write down. Write the steps. Like I just mentioned, the standard operating procedures to allow that person that comes in to be able to do that task without you. But obviously you can still be there for them if they have any questions. So what is the outcome? What is the end? So this is another point. How do you want this task to end up? Okay. For example, for the podcast operations, right? So when you are in this world of podcasting, there's so many steps that go into it. But what is the end? The end is to make sure that the episode goes live on a certain date at a certain time. But then you got to work backwards. What are those steps? So knowing that these steps over here need to get done to get to this outcome, you need to ensure that all these little steps, show notes, editing, graphics, goes same for blog writing. How do you want your blogs to look like and read and feel? You got to do all these little things before that. So you got to write all those steps in place. And then expect the handoff to take a little bit longer, especially in the beginning, because it's going to take your team time to learn the ins and outs of the tasks and your business. And just know that this is not meaning that they're failing, is that they're learning. And as time goes on, they'll get faster and everything will be beautiful. And the goal isn't necessarily to remove yourself from your business. It's to make sure that your business doesn't collapse the one day that you're not available, the one day that you just want to go to the beach, the one day that you want to go hiking in the woods, whatever it is, that day you don't have to worry about. So if you've caught yourself ever saying, I need a clone, we get it. I totally understand that. But that instinct is usually pointing at a missing system, not a missing you, not a missing clone. And don't forget to look at that link for the Entrepreneur Spotlight. Again, all the information is going to be in our show notes. Thank you for spending time here today, and we'll see you next time. You can now follow us on LinkedIn at Entrepreneur Encounter.
Thanks for spending time with us today. If something in this episode gave you a fresh perspective, share it with a friend or send us a DM. We love hearing how these conversations land with you.
And if you're curious about how soft skills can support your next season of growth, we each have more resources to share.
You can find Dana on Instagram at danas.desk.nc for Pinterest strategy and intentional marketing,
and Sarah at Your Remberts for team development, business leadership, and podcast support.
Until next time, keep leading with purpose
and growing with intention.